Okay, ladies, we definitely have to talk more about prolapse and the circumstances, your life, how are you supposed to live in your everyday life with prolapse. Of course, until you are healing it. Don't take it so seriously, I'm sort of kidding, because when I had the prolapse, the second time during my pregnancy, I was so terrified that actually I was asking around my midwife, what is going to happen during the delivery, Because I have a prolapse and I knew I had a bladder prolapse. So I was like, I really wanted to know if I can give birth and actually I can go through the birth naturally with a prolapse, because I was terrified that the child might be slipping through. I know, I had all kind of weird thoughts in my mind because I was pregnant and I knew that my belly is just gonna get worse. From previous prolapse experience, I understood that with the pressure, it will just get worse, because previously I experienced it after the birth and now we were before it. Oh no, how can I even give birth with a prolapse? Is it not just gonna slip through, or am I going to make it worse with the pushing? These kind of questions I had. The midwife had no idea. I was also in the process of getting qualified as a postpartum coach, postpartum trainer, but I thought, maybe pelvic floor physiotherapist can give me more advice and is more knowledgeable than I am. It turns out not really, because she didn't really give any other different advice that I already knew. Only thing that she could is she made me feel more safe, and she just reassured me that nothing bad is going to happen. I can still give birth with the prolapse, so it's not gonna make any complications with the pushing during birth, because that's what I was afraid of. What happens if I push? Something will break there, She kind of reassured me that it's fine, it's gonna be fine, yeah? And then she also gave me some tips. I got a whole list of things I should be avoiding, and I want to start this right now not to believe everything and not to listen to everyone what they are telling you should be avoiding. Of course, some things do make sense, but number one rule, listen to your body. Listen to your body and modify according how you feel. That's the number one rule that no one can really advise about, because the prolapse can be different degree of each and one of us, and we can feel completely differently during our prolapse, like how we experience it. Some people might have these certain symptoms more, like heaviness in the vagina or feeling like something is coming out of there. Some people might experience it after sex. Some people might experience when they walk. And then you have to maybe modify more of those things in your life and adjust in there. Some people might feel it more when they lift heavy objects. Then they might have to come out to be more careful in those moments in their life and with those actions. The advice I got, it was just completely not realistic. So that's why I'm saying, number one rule, listen to your body, see what you're doing in your everyday life and how you can modify those actions in your everyday life. And that's the only thing that makes sense, that you make the modifications for yourself. To just come out an example, I already had a toddler, 2-year-old, almost 3, when I was pregnant second time, and I already had a prolapse during the pregnancy. So obviously it could get worse, my prolapse, the growing belly, everything. I was still in just like second trimester, and I already had the symptoms of the heaviness, something is coming out, the vagina, pain after sex, especially if I got up right after sex, I really felt that something is coming out there. I had like a lot of back pain in my lower back, especially by the evening. What she told me, do not lift heavy, do not lift grocery bags, do not lift up your child, don't pick up your child, don't carry your child. And I was like, it's not possible for me not to pick up my 2-year-old. She all the time wants to be picked up. Sometimes I have to carry her down. We had a 2-floor house then, and she was not comfortable always come down on the stairs by herself. So sometimes I had to like literally carry her down. So I'm like, this is going to be a problem if you tell me I cannot do all of these things. I cannot lift groceries. What the hell are you talking about? I am doing groceries on foot. I actually walk to the supermarket and come home, because it's like a 7 minutes walk, 5-7 minutes. So very close by. I'm not taking the car to go there. I literally go there and I come home with like 4 packs of groceries by myself with my prolapse. So are you telling me I cannot do it in the next 4-5 months? Then who? Some of these things absolutely didn't make sense, and that's why I'm telling you, the number one thing is that you listen to your body and you see what you are doing and where you're getting the most of your symptoms due to your prolapse, and you try to overcome that and modify those moments in your life, and that is how you be able to mitigate your symptoms the most. If you have lower back pain, you might have to come and find a solution to your lower back pain, or for those moments when you get in it. Or if you have a desk job, like I had a desk job, you know, I knew that I have to minimize how much I'm sitting by the computer, because this is where I'm getting most of my pain. I had a lot of pain when I'm standing up. Then I knew when I was walking around, it was a little bit better. So I knew that I have to reduce these moments when I'm just standing like this, still standing. There are some things that can commonly help everybody, or there are very advised things, but sensible advised things, and not like do not pick up your child, do not go grocery shopping. We have to come up with solutions for our prolapse. We have a life, we have routines, we have to keep going with modifications. Here there are some things you can implement into your life to help mitigate your symptoms of prolapse in your everyday life. The first thing is that you need to have a good posture, and you have to try to pay attention to it all the time. So you can't just have a bad posture now, because this is the posture, and if this is bad and slouchy, it will impact your pelvic area. So you probably heard that anterior and posterior pelvic tilt, when somebody is like this, or too much the other way around. These are also due to bad postures, rounded shoulders, anterior, posterior pelvic tilts. This is what has to stop. Also, when you are sitting down and you are slouching too much in front of the computer, these things are the ones that you have to stop, and you have to now actively pay attention to your posture, to have your shoulders back, to have your pelvic not slip front or back, but have a neutral spine throughout the day, and try to pay attention to it regularly throughout the day. So all the time, kind of, like anytime that you just realize, fix your posture. You can also stack yourself against the wall and make sure your back of the shoulder reaches your booty and your heels, and then try to just practice good posture next to the wall. Your lower back shouldn't touch the wall. There should be like a natural curve in there. Second, breathing. Don't breathe from the chest. Diaphragmatic breathing. Learn the diaphragmatic breathing. Deep inhale through the nose, and then exhale through the mouth, and then let your deep core contract on the exhale. I have a bunch of videos. I will add one here. You can check it out for diaphragmatic breathing. Very important. You have to learn this. It will help you during and after pregnancy. It will help you. This is the foundation of healing the prolapse as well. Another thing that you can do is engaging your core and your pelvic floor muscle during effort time. So when you lift something heavy, you have to be cautious, and you have to try to engage your core and your pelvic floor when you do that. So for example, when I have to pick up a weight or a grocery, when I go down, I engage my core and my pelvic floor, tightening the whole pelvic area when I lift up this item. And then I have to walk a little bit, some distance with it. Keep engaging the core when you do that, and then put it down. Then you can inhale again and then release it. So always on the effort, learn to engage your pelvic floor muscles. And when you have to pick up something heavy, for example, or when you cough and sneeze, when you cough, try to engage your pelvic area, so you will not feel like during the coughing or the sneezing something is loosening up there too much, and like something is trying to fall out there, because that's the feeling that is disturbing you. That's the feeling that is bothering you. This is the feeling that you have to mitigate, because the weight can bear you down and pull you down. Heavy weights, when you hold it, like groceries, it can pull you down. It might feel like something is coming out there, but if you tighten your pelvic floor muscles while you're carrying the weight and your core muscles, then this feeling will not come. So you learn to lift safely and tightening your core and pelvic floor muscles during the lift. You can still breathe. Of course, you should still breathe. So you should also never skip a breathing. But when you lift up and then you carry, tighten the core, tighten the pelvic floor. They work together. The core and pelvic floor, they work together. So if you tighten them together at the same time, you can still breathe like that. I'm still breathing like that, but I'm just tightening until I'm carrying the weight. And when I put it down, I release it again. And then you can release it again. And then you can Don't skip breathing, don't hold your breath, don't bear down, especially on toilet. We never supposed to push on the toilet. It should be a natural flow. If the pelvic floor muscles are relaxing, everything should naturally just come out there. We should never push. This was something that they probably told us when we were children, just push, push. No, we don't have to push. The only pushing is when you're giving birth. But when you go to poo or pee, you're not supposed to push it out. It has to come naturally. If your pelvic floor muscles are relaxed, it will naturally come the flow. If they are tight, too tight, this is when the problem is, and this is when you are trying to push through because you feel like it's not coming out. Yes, I told you to tighten your pelvic floor muscles and contract them in certain aspects of your life, like when you have to lift, but you also have to learn to relax them to be able to do and perform these things in your life. Poo, pee, and having sex, because those muscles are helping you to perform these activities as well. So you never bear down, you are not bearing down. Other thing what you can do also when you exercise or when you are walking around or when you are try to keep the distance between your foot like shoulder distance or closer. Stop doing the wide leg open things because you see what happens? There are opportunity for everything to feel more loose and you feel like something will come out of there. And if you put a weight on it, for example in exercise, it might just make it worse. So try to forget about this wide leg movement for now. Recommend and in exercise to just keep your legs close to each other and forget about the sumo squat for now. Also other modifications you can do in your life. When you have to pick up something, avoid this again. That you just go and pick up something. Better yet, if you just go down on one knee, you see everything is closed. You will not feel like something is coming out of there again. Everything is closed. You just go down on one knee, you pick up that thing and you go further. Or you go down on both knees like this and then you pick up and then you go back again on the one knee. So these are more safer movements for your everyday life. But again, the most important is your common sense, your feelings, how you feel. When do you get the most symptoms during the day? Which time is that? Like I mentioned, it was for me when I was working at the desk. You wouldn't even think maybe, but when I was working, it was unbearable, the back pain I was getting and the pain around the pelvic area. It was unbearable at some point. What I could do for myself to stop those moments when I have to sit at the desk and really, because that was not good for me, lying down or putting something behind my back and in the evening lie down like that and watch TV like that, to actually place something behind my back, that was better and that was actually relaxing so much better. But to sit like this at the desk, I could not. And also at some point, sometimes you forget about yourself and what I said, this slouching, the bad posture. That happened to me as well. That's why I'm saying that posture is the most important. And what I did is I took frequent breaks as well during my day. So I did not sit there 8 hours, even if they wanted me to. No. So I took my frequent breaks because I knew when I'm standing in one spot, I had also a lot of symptoms in my back pain. Because here was the belly and as it was growing, it just got worse, So my posture, that's why I'm saying posture is number one, and breathing, because these are the foundations of your pelvic area and all the symptoms that you are getting. You have to have a neutral spine. If it is difficult, because for example, I was pregnant and it was hard because the belly was just growing and in the end, towards the end, it was really unbearable. To avoid these positions in my life, that's how I was feeling. So I knew the modification had to happen around those things because that was the time during my day when I felt worse. Even just when I was more walking or on the move, I could have my posture much better and I felt much better as well during those times in the day when I was on the move. But still standing and still sitting in a desk with a computer was just bad. So I knew that was my situation. I had to go about those moments in my day and I have to find a solution for those. That's why I'm saying I just gave you a few tips, but the number one rule is to listen to your body, see where you get the most symptoms. Only you know when you feel the worst, and then when you identify that, you actually find the solution for yourself for that. But if you can't, then drop me a comment and I will let you know what would be the best solution for you in those situations. Thanks for watching me today. I hope to see you next time. Cheers!